This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Sustainable, multi-use space that honors our town's agricultural heritage. We will restore the 1980s lodging house to provide much-needed affordable, single-room occupancy agro housing for area residents and young professionals. Through partnerships, we will ensure the APR land remains in active hay production and that Chickwin family continues to farm and to provide grass-fed beef for our community. We will convert the garage into a community food hub, reducing food waste and ensuring daily access to fresh food for our neighbors. Food recovery will bridge the gap in local food distribution needs to collaborate with and not compete with our neighboring farms. We are committed to being responsible stewards of this site. We have carefully designed our operations to respect our neighbors and to preserve the character of Oliver Street. Our plans ensure the safety of our neighbors and the protection of the surrounding agricultural land. With thoughtful site design, we have deliberately planned agro housing and local food hub concentrate activity within the existing footprint. This approach minimizes traffic and noise and ensures we protect the peaceful daily lives of our neighbors. We aim to balance community access with historic rural character. Parking and garden classroom spaces are designed to welcome the community while maintaining a peaceful neighborhood feel. We are ensuring that our proposal is an asset for our town without placing strain on our local infrastructure. Together, we have an opportunity to save historic town farm property and transform it into a vibrant community asset for Easthampton's current and future generations. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to offer public speakers?
Chair Kozinski, just to let you know, we were muted before we started public speak, so members of the public might have not heard your initial preamble. If you just want to repeat what you said about what we plan on doing tonight.
What we plan on doing. Thank you for the note. Let me try to rephrase what I said earlier. Essentially, our task this evening is to function within as much openness and visibility to the public as possible to be able to observe the process that we're going to be going through. This is a committee of the city council, but we are acting outside of our traditional property committee roles. But the property committee is yet still tasked with the responsibility of reviewing the RFPs and making recommendations to the mayor. That's what essentially we said. We hope to be able to answer as many questions as possible at some point. Hopefully to the public and to those who have kindly applied for the RFP. We will be answering and laying out a process that could be clear to everyone so that we can all arrange our schedules as best as possible. Was there something that you heard that may have missed in that? We will not be taking public speak beyond the public speak that we have taken so far this evening. This is a matter for the council to discuss and for staff to contribute to our process. Hopefully at the end of the period, we will have a recommendation to the mayor, and the mayor then will take it from there. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions from councilors? That being said, I would invite the procurement officer, the
procurement officer.
Yes.
Procurement officer. That's
procurement officer. If I don't get that right,
just a procurement
I will have
officer. That is all. Lowly procurement
lowly
officer.
procurement officer.
Yes.
And we have the esteemed planning director online with us. So
my goal here tonight was to meet with you.
Oh, do we have someone else who wants?
was there? I did not see another hand. Someone raised their hand.
There were a couple of people who raised their hands to let us know we were muted, and she might have had her hand still up.
Well, I'm happy to invite up to 3 minutes of public. speaking.
Julie has her hand up.
So Julie, that's it. We did not see hands up. I did not see that up sooner. If anyone, as you noticed this time, before we get into the procurement officer
Lawrence also has his
and
hand up.
Lauren, so we have 2 hands up. Thank you. Julie, you have the table.
Hi, Julie Thomas, precinct 1. I just wanted to throw my support for the Ciccone family, for the RFP. It's not too often that a community can put something for disposal and an outsider doesn't come in and grasp it. This is a jewel that we have here, an opportunity to keep within our community what has already been happening, but expand on it to meet all the criteria that meets the RFP. And I really hope that you put them into consideration, because this is not, I've never heard of this happening where a local will go ahead and put forth an RFP within our own community. So I do hope that you keep that into consideration, that is exceptional. And I would appreciate that. And also, I just was requesting a little bit clarification, because the agenda did not talk too much about the ordinance on the flag. Are we picking up from back in April 2025 when it was requested that it go to ordinance to do for the flags in the public areas?
We normally don't respond to public speak, and since this is a matter, I will not be answering specific
So,
questions.
and then in the future, maybe on the agendas, you guys can expand a little bit so that when we do public speak, we know what we're actually addressing. That would probably be helpful, or a link to something that we're going to be addressing, or additional PDF on there to let us know exactly what you're talking about, so that when we do public speak, we can speak appropriately to our feelings on it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I see Lawrence Roan. You have the
Yes,
floor.
sir. Good evening. I just wanted to, number one, we couldn't hear, and that was the main reason for me raising my hand, but I still wanted to just express gratitude for the professional process that you're executing. To watch it and observe it is makes us Renewal Initiatives, as a veteran-owned and operated organization, proud of the fact that at one point we were all able to protect the freedoms and liberties of this activity. And we appreciate what we've seen so far, and we look forward to the process coming to completion. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? See more hands. All right. I had asked everybody who would want to speak to please speak up and raise your hands. I see 2 more. Can you roll this down so that we can see if there are any others?
There are no more.
They're no longer. Those aren't raised hands.
Nope.
I can't see from here. Okay, good. If now we see no further hands, let's close this public speak. You have the floor.
Counselors, good evening. Good to see you all.
I hope you can explain to us.
Yep, I wanted to give you a quick
Beth.
thumbnail sketch of where we're at since the proposal deadline, the submission deadline. Initially, it was the 13th of the month. It was extended to the Monday, the 20th. On that deadline date, we received 2 proposals, one from Living Meadow Farm and the other from Farm Initiatives. I'm sorry, Renewal Initiatives. On the receipt date, or I think it was that Tuesday, I sent electronic copies to each member of the property committee. Did you guys get those?
You did get electronic.
Yep, and I also provided JP hard copies.
Which we're happy to provide to everyone.
Do you-
And it may be easier.
And that was my next question. Would you like hard copies of these proposals rather than the electronic copies?
I don't think I need one.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. I just wanted to make sure they're available for you if you so desire. After receiving the proposals, I went through them as the procurement officer, and my purpose was to determine if they met what we have called the minimum requirements. Let me just find that. So I can't find it.
I think it's right on the top.
Thank you. So, in speaking with JP this afternoon, I let him know that I made a determination that each proposal that was submitted met minimum requirements and they should go on for full review. The minimum criteria for consideration, any proposal that fails to meet the minimum criteria will be rejected as non-responsive. So there are 5 criterion. Proposals shall include all the required forms. The proposal shall include a plan for compliance with all deed restrictions and encumbrances. The proposal shall include a statement of public benefit. The proposal shall include satisfactory references. The proposal shall include a business plan, detailed financial pro forma, and multi-year revenue, cash flow, and expenses. I went through both proposals and determined that they both meet minimum criteria for consideration. So we're here tonight to discuss a full review of these proposals based on the evaluation criteria that's in the RFP. Now, there are several ways this can be done. I first want to distribute to each of you hard copies of 2 evaluation forms, one to be used for each proposal we received. This is for you. The evaluation criteria on these evaluation forms comes right out of the RFP. The minimum requirements I have marked as all acceptable. I placed the date and my initial on there. So no need to look at minimum requirements. Both proposals meet minimum requirements. Evaluation criteria is then listed on the next 3 pages. There are rooms for notes, and there's a reviewer sign and date at the very last page. Now, based on my experience in reviewing RFPs, you could do this a couple different ways. You could convene as a committee and discuss your review jointly and come up with consensus and score 1 evaluation for each proposal. I don't recommend that. It tends to take a lot more time and can be a lot more confusing, not only for the public, but for members of the committee. What I will recommend, and what I think has worked best in the past, is all have a copy of both proposals. Get your evaluation forms, go to your home offices or your reading rooms at home, and carefully go through each proposal and do an initial reaction with the evaluation sheets. That's the way I've had most success in the past. You guys find a quiet area and try to do them right after each other, so one doesn't stay in your mind and have stronger recollection than the other. You can start with either one; really doesn't matter. But I always did them within probably about 12 or 20 hours of each other, just because I want to keep these evaluation categories kind of in the front of my mind as I go through this stuff. After you score them individually, and while you're scoring them individually, you would write down any questions or clarifications that you would like from the 2 proposals. Questions, clarifications, any additional information you may want from those folks. All of you have the right to have the ability to formulate your own questions and your own clarifications that you want for each proposal. It doesn't have to be one set from the group. You can each have your own concerns that you want addressed or answers that you want addressed. Now, how do you want to do that? I would suggest that after the initial review, that the committee reconvene and then set a time for interviews. I would suggest that you want to interview both proponents and you want to do that probably in the same day or the same setting consecutively. Formulate your questions prior to those interviews. Both myself and Allison would hopefully be at those interviews to provide technical assistance and advice. Complete those interviews, get those questions answered face to face from the proponent. That's oftentimes you can get a real sense of whether you're getting an answer that the proponent thinks you want to hear, or you're actually getting an answer. If you provide the questions beforehand, okay, here are questions from A, B, and C counselor, and get back to us in 2 weeks. I think it's better. My experience is that it's better to sit down with them and ask them those questions straight on in a one-on-one environment. So after initial scoring, or I would say, initial scoring or interim scoring, formulate your questions, your clarifications, further information you may want from the proponents, come back here for an additional meeting, and then set the times for the interviews. Then one more meeting after the interviews to formulate your final scores, and then submit those to staff to be compiled and with final recommendation to the mayor. Do you guys have any questions? I know this is new for many of you. The other thing we need to consider is it is summertime and people are going to be on vacation. August is a big time.
August is a big month, and I'll go right here sometime, 12th.
August 12th and 24th?
12th to 23, 23 are not good times for me.
Okay.
So just to put that out there. And I say that plans were made a year ago on that. Otherwise, I'm generally very flexible and try to. I don't know if anyone else has any specific dates.
Well, August 1st is Saturday. So that is 12 days. Not including weekends. So that's 1, 2. It's really only 8 days if you conclude
To digest
both proposals and do your initial impression, your initial scoring. I can provide technical assistance and advice, but it's really your committee, and it has to go by your timetable, not my timetable.
in terms of timetable, does us having us get back together the 26th, 27th, does that make any problems with those days?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think I could be ready by before. Is there any value in talking about the only day I could do so you're leaving the 12th, you said? I think I could be ready by the 10th. But I mean, I've already read through them once, so because I'm new to this and was not 100% sure on how prepared I should be. So
Yeah.
I have already read through them once. I haven't formulated all my questions, and I could give them a more thorough read. But
I think thorough read and putting it together makes the best.
So I guess I can't do the 11th though. So unless we met on the 10th, I really couldn't. We would be waiting till probably the 26th or 27th. And I don't have necessarily a problem with that. It's just, it's 4 weeks. But
10th works for me as well. I did want to pose a question, and also I'm new to this, so this might have a very easy answer. But is it at all normal to give the applicants an opportunity to present to us in their own words their proposals?
It is
I guess that'd be part of the interviews.
part of the
Part
interview
of the
process.
interviews, yeah.
Okay.
Interviews
I think
would
we can
not,
build that into the.
yeah,
to
we
the-
could definitely
to the-
build that into the
yeah.
interviews.
I
Yeah.
think that makes sense.
Okay.
Right.
Interviews should not be, well, there should be a time limit set on them, but the time limit should be fairly extensive, like an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half for each interview. you're going to allow them to do a quick presentation, talk about their proposal, talk about the highlights, what they believe are the highlights of their proposal, and what makes their proposal most advantageous for the city in terms of our evaluation criteria. I would set aside an hour and a half for each interview.
Okay, so I've just got a question. But piggybacking on your question, yes, so we should review these, formulate the questions.
Well, review them in your own and
Right.
maybe start to formulate how you think your evaluations are going to fall.
Right.
But then formulate all of your questions, the clarifications and additional information you would be seeking that you would be seeking that would assist you in your final scoring.
Now,
And that would
Yes.
go along with the interview.
and I guess the question is, do we need to meet again before the interviews then? Or should we just read them, formulate our questions, and then our next meeting is the start of our interviews?
That would be acceptable, I think, yes.
I think it makes sense to go ahead and have the interviews.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their evaluation sheets, they have their proposals. You can literally schedule interviews for the next meeting
Okay.
if you choose.
Well, then what if we scheduled interviews for the 20th? If they're an hour and a half each, would it make sense to do one on there's only two of them, do one on the 26th, one on the 27th?
It may make sense, however, it also makes sense to keep it fresh in your mind at the same time.
I appreciate that, but I just figure after 3 hours of interviews, I don't know how fresh anyone's mind is going to be. I mean, it just,
I think that's time to go home and.
Only 2 interviews will be
There's
conducted.
two.
sure.
We-
But if you're
we've
saying
seen
an
the
hour and a half
process.
each,
Yeah, what time,
What have we done? We've done an hour and 15 minutes up to an hour and a half interviews in the past.
so if we
Uh,
started on a specific day, 5 o'clock.
And do we want to allow the Real Dog and Pony Show? Do you want to allow projection screen, a formal presentation? Or do we, he says,
I think so.
Kim says yes, and you say yes, and that's typically what may happen. When we did the reviews for the schools, those were separated into, I think, 3 or 4 different interviews. And we did allow all the proposers to make a presentation,
We
20
asked
minutes,
for
25.
Time limit on the.
Yeah, it was like a 25-minute, half-hour presentation and an hour of
Up to an
questions and
hour of
answers.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, those are really complex projects. So if we
They are,
set 15 to 20 minutes, I feel like that would probably be
15 or
I can
20
live with that.
or a 20-minute presentation and a half-hour question and answer or 40-minute question and answer. It's really up to you guys.
Sure.
However you want this to move forward.
Okay, I'm good with that. I guess my other question is, in terms of is a question about the questions. Should we set a deadline for ourselves to get our questions to you so that the applicants have time ahead of the meeting? Just in case we have a data question, I'd hate to ask somebody something and have them just not have that answer in front of, you know what I mean? Or is the interview going to be the first time they hear these questions, or should?
It's really up to you
It's up to
folks.
us. It seems to make sense to have that be the first time everyone asks the questions. Then there's no particular focus on what the question is, getting answers. These are the questions, they're delivered, and you answer.
an applicant could also follow up after the fact with any.
Many applicants
supplemental-
do follow up with a thank you note and then some written, basically a written answer to the questions that they've offered at the interview.
Okay, so there isn't going to be the expectation that everyone has. I bring this up because I feel like this has been a thing that we've experienced at city
You guys
council.
can
sometimes
drive
about,
this yourselves.
How prepared should people expect to be on certain things?
Well, certainly you should be prepared to speak to every issue within this proposal that you submitted to the city. I mean, that's fairly clear.
And our questions can they need to be limited to the scope of the evaluation criteria.
Yeah, what's your favorite cereal is probably not relevant. Yeah, we would expect that the questions all to be relevant.
Yeah, as long as they have a chance, I wonder about like if somebody asks a particularly detailed data question, there might be something that's available, but
They could have the opportunity.
they would have the opportunity to follow up. Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense to
sure.
me.
Send an email with their answer within 24 hours.
Sure. Okay.
So after that step, the next step would be
After interviews,
after the interviews, so any follow-ups from the applicants has been sent in.
then the
Would we look toward,
committee members would finalize their evaluation sheets.
and it would seem to me appropriate at that point to
Give them all to me, and then I will then do a matrix of how many highly advantageous, how many unacceptable, etc.
Mhm.
And I do a quick matrix on that and show you who was the preferred.
And it may be very clear, or it may become very kind of muddled at that point. We don't know.
Have to figure it out.
We'll figure that out.
All that has to do is the quality of the proposal, the quality of the writing in the proposal. Can you easily follow it to do your evaluation? These are all factors that I've always dealt with when reviewing proposals. Yeah.
It would seem to me that if the applicant has any questions, as I stated earlier at the beginning of the meeting, we all just want to reiterate, we all agree, anything should go through.
All questions should come through myself, yes. And all process questions that you may have, please submit them to me and I will get them to the city solicitor and get your answer to that question. But those are basically process questions or questions regarding, the procurement process itself. If I can't answer them, I'll certainly bring in the city solicitor and he'll get us an answer for you. I will get an answer for you either way.
So would it make sense then to kind of reserve time on the 2nd and the 3rd of September?
What days of the week are those?
Let's see.
The 2nd is a Wednesday. It's our city council meeting.
That answers that question. How about the 3rd?
3rd is a Thursday? I'll make myself available.
Yeah, I can do
So, yeah, that works.
that.
Give us a preferred time you'd like to do this?
5:30 work for everybody?
Sorry, so
Is this for the interviews?
No, we were talking about interviews on the 26th or the 27th.
Okay, all right. Very
could
good.
I make a plug to the 26th? I think
You can make any plug you'd like.
I would like to
It's our
propose that we do the,
process.
if we're doing it all in one day, it would be better for me to do it on the 26th.
That day of the week again is Wednesday. That fits in nicely, I thought, because we don't have a council meeting. The 26th.
We're all used to staying 3 hours.
Yeah,
City Hall on Wednesday
I'm
night.
used to not having a life
Yeah,
on
not having a life
Wednesdays.
on Wednesdays.
And then you'd meet on September 2nd or September 3rd?
3rd.
September 3rd to
Is that,
turn in your final evaluation sheets.
is that too late, do you
Oh,
think?
no,
Is
that's,
that
I
kind of
will,
appropriate? Give us time.
no,
to reflect?
I think that's fine. And you can always delay that if you like, if you run into, I need more time. Just let the chairman know that you need more time and they'll be rescheduled.
Okay.
Public notice won't go out until 48 hours previous. Formal public notice. And of course, I look at public notices every day when I'm here at work. And as soon as I see that notice, I will make sure an electronic PDF copy is sent to both proponents.
Absolutely.
So they don't have to.
They don't have to be
go-
guessing and
They don't have to
wondering
guess and
what-
keep
what-
looking at
what's
the
going
city
on.
calendar. Oh, are they gonna meet or they're not gonna meet? Any
Absolutely.
meeting that takes place, electronic meeting notices will be sent to both proponents. Just so you know.
Question.
Yes.
If the applicants aren't able to make the 26th, do we have a contingency? Or are we just saying you either take it or leave it?
That is up to you folks.
I would hope that I'm sort of, I'm crying.
You could probably ask the question right now, since both proponents are here,
Both proponents are here, and
whether that was
I
a date
didn't want
that
to
anyone is gonna
any
be on
other,
vacation.
but I think when we finish the schedule and we're kind of have a tentative schedule set, that we ask the question.
Okay,
I think that would be appropriate,
all right,
and then we'll punt if
sure.
not appropriate. Beyond the third, we've now turned everything in to you. The purpose of the meeting on the third was
Mhm. The purpose of the meeting on the third would be to turn in your final evaluation sheets for both proposals. And then I would start collating them and again, doing that matrix showing.
we
Sure.
need to get together to do that. Can that be a date that we do that sooner or have a date? I'm not sure we need to get together to hand in our individual.
I guess we could just have a deadline. If we were meeting on the third, we could just have a deadline of getting our sheets.
To you on the second or something.
Yeah, by the second, is that,
I mean, unless there's a reason to have the third to discuss.
I don't see.
I don't see
It's-
it.
it's
Yeah,
your
I'm trying
call,
to- Yeah, I'm trying to envision. And I don't see it at this point.
Yeah.
We'll feel differently later, but hopefully not.
No, I like the simplicity of what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think
We do
that's,
reviews, we get the questions in, we do one round of interviews. We then have a week to think that over and fill out our forms.
fill out your
Fill
final
out the
version of the form.
second forms and
And then the day after that, we convene and
we can
we,
convene and Michael can bring us the results
Yep.
Mhm.
of that. At that point,
that seems reasonable to me.
that's good. That was what we were hoping for. I think. Any further after that date? What's that step
After the third, I think your recommendation would go right to the mayor's office and the mayor would be then responsible for putting forth a resolution to the full city council for disposition of property. The selected proposal, which the property committee ranked as highest.
which didn't go out by the second reading?
I don't know those.
Does it require anything further from us at that point?
No, but it will require a vote of the full city council.
So no public hearing.
No problem. Well, I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. There might be a requirement for one final public hearing. It's probably your choice, but I will double check. I don't think there's a requirement on the procurement side of things.
Okay. Yeah, so we can, if we need to, we can figure out the answer to that by early September and if we need to, we'll have time to set a public hearing on the first meeting of September for the second meeting in September.
Which is what date?
The 16th
First meeting in September?
is the second.
Is the second. And the other was 16.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that fit the timelines as you see it
Sure.
in terms of everything?
Yeah, we can make that work.
How about the time? I'm thinking in timelines in terms of giving the mayor the time that the mayor would need to be able to.
Well, yeah, I'm not claiming that he'd be in a position to do that.
Oh, well, next day.
Yeah, the next day.
I'm
I
not
don't
saying that
think
he
that's
would.
probably not
But
happening.
that this is a pretty good schedule to say that I think it's fair. Us to have a meeting date, the mayor's action. So I think that's,
Yeah, I think it's doable.
while we're talking to staff, Allison, Manuel, planning, any comments on what we've discussed so far from your perspective?
No, I think it all makes sense and seems like it's laid out pretty clearly.
Okay. Now, if we were pretty set on the schedule, I think we should ask the applicants if they were, somebody's getting married that day or something, or
Out of town on a vacation.
out of town on a vacation, going to Europe or wherever, and unavailable.
That would be the 26th
So that would
of
be the
August.
26th of August for your,
After 5 or 5:30.
You're gonna be, not be, you'll be.
5 o'clock would sound good if we're hoping to get through.
We'll plan for the 26th, interviews on the
What could be
26th.
up to 3 hours.
We
Does
can
that
do-
make sense?
Yeah, I work from home
Councilor
that day, so I can just,
And do you have,
So I'm sorry, we asked the question and I kind of heard some affirmative
Oh.
nods, but I wasn't sure. And then we went off to discuss something
the
else.
26th
I wanna
seems,
look at-
seems
26th is
acceptable to
good.
both.
We're talking about 5 o'clock for a start.
that's good.
Okay.
5 o'clock in the evening.
In the evening. Not 5 o'clock in the morning.
I could wrap up. for
It
work.
could be good
Yeah.
for you farmers. This is great. Anyone who has farm interest early in the morning, maybe that's great. But for the rest of the world, so 5 o'clock in the evening. Anything else that we needed to cover at this point? As far as, I think
So
we
the,
have a good schedule.
Yeah, I think we do. The meeting on the 26th at 5 PM will be a publicly posted meeting of the property committee.
Yep, there
And
will
you'll
be
be-
no public speak at that time. It'll just be.
Yep, that's up to you. It'll just be the two
I would think
interviews.
that there would be no public speak because what are we gonna do?
And no other agenda items on that
And
day.
no other agenda items on the agenda. That would be the one subject. And we're conducting interviews unless they're.
And we probably just flip a coin in terms of who goes first. Make one proponent heads, the other proponent tails, flip a
And
coin and
that's-
go from there.
Sounds like a fine process by me. Anyone have objections to that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Fine by me.
Start at 5, go for a half hour, and then go to 6 o'clock. Half-hour presentation, half-hour of questions, or is it a 15-minute presentation, 45 minutes of questions?
Oh, I thought we would do like I thought you were saying like an hour and to allow like an hour and a half. So
Yeah,
I was assuming what we do is like half-hour presentation
and then,
up to an hour of
Up to an
questions.
hour,
Then
yeah.
we adjourn for a little
15 minutes,
while
yeah.
to,
Clear
Yeah.
our thoughts and
yeah.
maybe.
you'd be out of here by 8:30,
Be out by
8:45.
8,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
You'd
we've
be okay.
certainly had worse.
Yeah. I was just thinking about how late you want to be here in your evening and, but no,
That is not.
I'll
a thing
We don't
that-
I'll
wanna
be
keep
ready.
staff longer than.
I'll be ready on the 26th.
I don't-
To be here in the evenings. Yeah.
honestly anticipate that probably we will have an hour worth of questions, but just
Sure.
if we run up to an hour, I think that's probably the time that we say this is reached, this is unreasonable. We can move on. But I don't honestly think that we're gonna have, having read through these once, I don't have 1 hour of questions for
Mhm.
either of the applicants.
Okay.
Good.
So, do you want to recap or do you want me to recap?
Why don't you recap?
All committee members have copies of both proposals, either electronic or hard copies.
Mhm.
The proposal forms for each proposal submitted have been distributed to the councilors. Councilors are going to do their preliminary review or their preliminary evaluation between now and the 26th. The evening of the 26th, we will have interviews with both proponents, a half-hour presentation followed by 1 hour of questions and answers.
Up to a half an hour.
Up to
Up to a half an hour.
Up to a half an
Up
hour
to a half an hour.
presentation.
I mean,
And up to 1 hour of questions and answers.
somebody, if their presentation is 20 minutes, we're not gonna
We're not gonna say,
make
oh,
somebody sit there and
you gotta
we need
go
another 10
come
minutes.
up with another 10 minutes of
Or
content
do we
for
have
us.
expectations that they have?
Not to exceed
Offers
1
them,
half hour.
yeah.
Yeah, and then 1 hour of questions and answers. And then finalizing your evaluation sheets on the 2nd of September, which is a Wednesday.
2nd of September, Wednesday, and then meeting on the 3rd.
On the 3rd as a property committee? Or as a full city council?
As a property.
As a property committee on the 3rd to review the matrix or the compilation of evaluations.
What the results are.
Okay, very good.
Good.
Excellent.
And that's the one on the 3rd, is that 5:30?
The one on the 3rd is at 5:30.
26th, 5 PM. The last item I have, I just wanted to speak to the question that you received on 7/27
Yeah.
from Living Meadow Farm, Elodie Chickowin. You know, Elodie on the 27th, which was, what is that, 3 days ago. She's writing to follow up on the proposal submitted by Living Meadow Farm regarding the RFP. She was wondering if you could please confirm the schedule of the property committee's review of the received proposals. We could not do that on the 27th or until we met tonight, because that would have required you three to get together and talk about a schedule. And that would have been a violation of the open meeting law. So that's why your question wasn't answered until this evening. So just so you know, we weren't ignoring you, but these guys have to make the decision, and they could not meet and discuss a schedule until a meeting was posted, or they'd be
I think the
violation of
first
the open meeting law.
part of that was to clarify tonight's meeting if in fact the town lodging house was going to be on the agenda for this. And then
Yeah,
we saw the agenda updated.
yeah, it was updated, and then I made sure you guys, both proponents, had a copy of it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I just wanted to explain that, no one was ignoring you in terms of your question here. All righty. Councilors, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Who's naming us?
Thank you, Allison. You have my number? You have my email? If anything comes up during your review,
Oh,
you have a process question or a procedure question, please call me. Please call me.
And everyone should feel free to.
Yeah, with myself. Yep.
Yep.
All right. Thanks
Thank
again,
you.
folks.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time and have a great rest of your evening.
Appreciate it. Now that we've dealt with that part, we have one other item on our agenda. And that was the flags, which was on the agenda from before. I had intended to have us be discussing only one item today, and that was the town lodging. And I apologize that anything else showed up on the agenda. It was a clerical error from the clerk's office. I'm not blaming the clerk. It's typical to publish the agenda as what's on the agenda, and then finding a spot for this because it may not have been on the agenda. It was an old business, new business. Okay, but we got it all clarified. Everybody was notified. That was great. I did not have any to need to discuss the flags. That's why I didn't want to necessarily discuss that with you. If somebody had some theory or thoughts about it, we could. I'm beginning to lean in the direction of to reconsider returning this to the council or coming up with a plan for the subject to be discussed.
I think it would be probably a good idea to maybe talk about picking this up in September. So we haven't done of this. And I do feel bad about how long this has been kicked around in committee.
You do.
I do. But,
Wow. It's only all the time you've been a counselor.
the entire time. And yeah, but it's, it's sort of an odd situation, but I think that, I'd like to get it off, but I just think that it makes sense for us to, let's deal with this.
Deal with this. Yeah. I'm in agreement. Any objections?
I would agree with that. I just have a note about the agendas. I don't know, and I would be happy to work with you on figuring this out, but for ordinance committee, since we have so much on our agenda, I had to come up with a way to delineate what it is we're talking about on any given night while also keeping track of all the items.
Right.
So what I started doing was creating a little key that just put like two little asterisks after the agenda item that says we'll discuss at a future meeting. So it's still there. You can see the due dates and everything. And then, but it's really clear that that's not going to be discussed that night. And then I highlight all the items.
And then you do not discuss.
Yeah, and then we don't discuss that item and we only discuss the highlighted items on the agenda.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, but just in the future, if there's confusion,
That may be one way to help.
Yeah, just so the members of the public are clear what we're talking about.
Makes sense. Thank you. Anything else? Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for attending. And I would just like to close with saying, it's our fervent hope that we can come up with good plans and good decisions for everyone and for the entire city. Any other thoughts or comments closing? That being said, I would entertain a motion.
So moved. Second to adjourn.
Motion and second to adjourn. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is now closed.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.